What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Trades and Gains. I'm your host, Max Pitts. And while this week, four of the biggest companies on the planet are going to open their earnings live on stage, the Federal Reserve is going to make a decision in the middle of it, and your 401k is strapped to the roof of your car with a bungee cord and, well, a prayer. Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Amazon, the Fed, plus two inflation numbers that actually matter, all in 5 days, all in 1 week. They call the big tech stocks the Magnificent Seven. This week is more like the four Hunger Games or the Hunger Games. If the tributes were worth $3 trillion and the arena was your retirement account. So today I'm going to tell you exactly what to watch, the one number that decides everything, and why Wednesday afternoon might be the most stressful 90 minutes in finance this year. Welcome to Trades and Gains, and let's go ahead and get into it. So, real quick, because to understand this week, you need 30 seconds on last week. Last week was a bloodbath. This Magnificent Seven lost, and I want you to hear this number correctly, okay? $2 trillion off their peak. Two of them reported, Google and Tesla. And here's what's wild, they didn't get destroyed for missing. Google actually had a good quarter when you look at the numbers. They got destroyed for one reason: spending. Both companies revealed they're pouring so much money into AI that they've gone cash flow negative, meaning they're spending more than they're actually taking in. For 2 straight years, Wall Street begged these companies to spend on AI, cheered every dollar, had it tattooed on their chests. And then last week, the exact same crowd looked at the spending and went, wait, they're spending money? Yeah, that's what you wanted, right? You made the plan a t shirt. You can't cheer the fire and then act shocked when it's hot and your house burns down. Google fell 7%, Tesla fell 14, and the mood of the entire market flipped in one afternoon. From spend on future to where's all this money going? Like your dad. The whole vibe shift in 5 words. The market wanted receipts, it got invoices. And that is the trap that Microsoft, Meta, Apple, and Amazon are all about to walk into this week. Same buzzsaw, just some fresher necks. By the way, sorry about the dad comment. I know a lot of yours left to go get milk, and you're still searching for them today. So here's the single most useful thing I'll say all episode. If you remember nothing else, remember when these four report this week, do not watch earnings per share. I know that's the number. The headline screams Apple beats, Microsoft beats. They're all gonna beat. Beating is easy now. The bar is on the floor for that at this point. Watching earnings per share this week is like being impressed that a fish can swim. The number that matters, and the only one, is free cash flow. That's the cash left over after they've paid for everything, including the giant AI spending. That's the line that just executed Google and Tesla in broad daylight like it was Game of Thrones and what's his name? And your name is Ned Stark, okay? Here's the cheat code for this whole week. Forget did they beat? Ask one question to yourself. Are they spending like crazy and still generating cash? If yes, great. The panic's over. Everybody exhales. If they're all spending like crazy, though, and bleeding cash like Google and Tesla, you get reckoning. Part 2. Free cash flow. That's the whole game. Screenshot this, okay? And the four aren't equal here, by the way. Microsoft and Meta are two of the biggest spenders. They've got the most to prove right now. Apple barely spends on this stuff and prints cash like a mint. It's the safest. Amazon's the wild card because its cloud business is both its moneymaker and its biggest spender. So it's the same test. Four very different report cards. Now let's talk about the schedule, because whoever built this calendar has a personal grudge against the financial analysts. Wednesday, 2 o'clock p.m., the Federal Reserve announces whether they're changing interest rates. Then their chairman gets up and takes questions. And then, 90 minutes later, Microsoft and Meta, the two heaviest spenders of the whole week, drop their earnings. That's not a calendar, that's just a dare. Here's why the Fed got spicy. Well, everybody assumed the Fed would do nothing this week. Sit there, collect a salary, but then oil spiked to $100 a barrel. gas hit $4 and the job market got red hot. And suddenly people are whispering the word nobody wanted to hear again: rate hike. Again, that's rate hike. Okay. And here's the kicker: this meeting, the Fed doesn't release their little forecast chart, no projections, nothing to read. So the entire signal is the chairman's tone, his vibe. We are literally going to spend the week analyzing a man's facial expressions like it's a first date. So picture Wednesday, 2 p.m., the Fed chairman gets up, and if he even hints that inflation's a problem again, interest rates spike and everybody gets nervous. And then 90 minutes later, the two companies spending the most money have to stand up and go, "So, about our spending," into that exact mood. It's like pretty much proposing at a funeral. Timing is everything, and the timing, well, it's diabolical here. And this is going to bring us to the segment that we like to call Max's Rules for Wall Street. Common sense for a market that has none. Let's go. Rule number one: you do not get to schedule your earnings 90 minutes after the Federal Reserve. That's not confidence, that's a hostage note. Microsoft, Meta, read the room, or better yet, read the room rate because it's going up. Rule number two: massive capex year. It's not a strategy, it's a warning label. When a CEO says it, well, on an earnings call, it's the corporate version of a guy at a bar going, "I've got a lot going on right now." You just nod politely and you leave. Do not engage. I repeat, do not engage. Rule number three: Apple, you cannot report this week, sitting at an all time high. Up 20% this year, and expect standing ovations for a phone that is the exact same phone as last year. Okay. In a new color. They invented a word for it: titanium dusk. That's not a color, that's a candle from a store in the mall that smells like ambition. Okay? Rule number five: stop calling them the Magnificent Seven. They just lost $2 trillion in a week. That's not magnificent. That's a heist move where the heist goes horribly wrong and everyone gets caught in the parking garage. And finally, our final rule of the week: if you're watching this on a Sunday and you've checked your portfolio 4 times since I started talking, yeah, I'm talking to you, put the phone down. Nothing's even open. You're just going to stare at a screenshot and raising your own blood pressure for free. Go outside, touch some grass, make love to your wife. The candle color phone will still be here. That's one for me too. Okay, if you survive Wednesday, you don't get to rest because Thursday is a doubleheader. In the morning, the big inflation number the Fed actually cares about and report card on the whole economy, the GDP number. Then after the close, Apple and Amazon. And Apple is the fascinating one, right? It's the safest of the four on the spending question. It barely spends money on AI. Let's be honest, Apple's AI is just trash. So of course they don't. And they constantly just print cash. But it's priced for perfection. Sitting at an all time high, everyone's expecting 20% growth, which means Apple needs a flawless quarter with zero blemishes. Zero blemishes is a lot to ask from a company whose boldest move this year was a slightly different shade of titanium. So, how does this whole week resolve? Two paths, simple. Path one, the good one. These giants show they can spend like maniacs and still generate cash. The panic ends, the market exhales, and we rally into the end of the month. Everybody's happy. I make fewer jokes. Path two, the bad one. They bleed cash like Google and Tesla, or the Fed chairman gets grumpy about oil. Then it's reckoning part two. The selling continues, and that $2 trillion hole gets that much deeper. And one thing to keep in your back pocket: the biggest AI name of them all, NVIDIA, does not report this week. That's next month. So, however this week's go, it's a huge clue. It's not the final answer, though. So, what's your week? That's your week. Four Titans, one Fed, two inflation prints, $100 barrel of oil, and a market that will absolutely lose its mind at least twice before Friday. Grab your popcorn. It's cheaper than a movie. And the movie's also about tech companies with money problems. So, pretty interesting. Quick disclosure: because we actually got to do these here. Yeah, This isn't financial advice. These are just jokes. These are my opinions based on the market. Okay. So please do not YOLO your life savings based on this. Now, if this made you laugh and made you smarter about your money, that's the entire mission. Smash subscribe, it's free and it feeds the algorithm gods. The full written game plan for this week, every ticker, every time, none of the jokes is on our Substack over at Trades and Gains. Link's going to be in the description down below. Daily wraps are over there as well. The whole crew's in the Discord if you want to join that. And the legal part with love, again, no financial advice. I'm Max Pitts, aka Ben the Bull, and this has been your weekly outlook. I will see you guys at Market Open on Monday.